Hi Leonardo.
Aisha, you are the first arrival.
شو بس أنا وياك أول الواصلين ليوناردو.
Yes, we are. Rita is coming. Mustafa is coming. Rima is coming. That's amazing.
خلاص ببلش الصف؟
يلا هلا قلت لها
هلا ريما. هاي ريما. هاي ريتا. هاي everyone.
Yeah, I think Ferial is coming. Rima, Mustafa, Rita. Good evening, guys. I hope that everything is okay.
Yes. يلا Ferial is coming.
Hello Ferial. معنا بس.
Not
لا
yet.
بعدها ما فاتت.
Now she can hear us.
يلا. She is with us, I think. Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Joa, yes, we can. Good evening in our country, Ferial.
I hear a bit of an echo. It's noon for us, so good morning.
Yeah, welcome here, Ferial. محمد
ماما ما كتير عم نسمعك منيح.
Can you not hear me?
Yes, now it's good. Where is James?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
You can open the video.
We want to see us. Mustafa. Jawahir.
يلا let's wait for others.
Good evening, Dr. Aisha.
Good evening. Good evening Rima. عن جد
How are you?
I'm so proud of you and of your daughter. عن جد كمان James. Welcome James.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Let's wait for the other guys, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. First of all, I have to welcome you, Ferial, and James Hamilton, guys, is here with us today. So I think we have a conversation with these two people. So we are really happy just to have you today here, guys.
Thank you for having us. No, we're happy to be here. We're gonna turn on our video.
Yeah, it's better just to see you.
See our faces. Also, because my mom will get upset if I don't.
You look awesome, guys. Ferial and James.
I work in healthcare consulting. I've been in Boston for, how long have I been in Boston? 4 years now. I was in Pennsylvania before that. So moved up to Boston, got a master's degree, and I'm working in healthcare consulting now.
Yes, so I think Sherbet is coming amazing. Okay. I asked you, Aisha, just to pick a topic, just to discuss this topic if you can, because absolutely, guys, it's a great chance just to speak with native speakers. So let me say that my name is Leonardo. I'm the English teacher, and all the people here, guys, are my students. It is really important, guys, just to listen to native speakers, to listen to the English, the way this language is spoken, how the native speakers use this language spontaneously and even naturally. Don't forget, please, guys, if you have any question, I think that Ferial and James are really ready to answer all the questions that you have. So please, guys, do not hesitate. Even me, sometimes I commit some mistakes. I'm not an angel. I'm not native speaker, so it's something normal to commit some mistakes. Please do not hesitate. Speak up, because it is a great chance to speak with them. Welcome you again, Ferial. I'm James, and it's really, as I told you, important for my students just to speak with you. First of all, I heard, Ferial, that you are a Lebanese girl.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Lebanon, so of course I speak Arabic.
So you speak Arabic.
Yeah, and so I'm not a native like English speaker. I was born and raised in Lebanon, but I've like learned English since I was a kid. So I would say I speak it fairly well. I've also been in the US for about 9 years.
Okay, so and I think that James is a native speaker.
Yes.
I want.
I was born and raised in England, so native speaker. But I will say Ferial's English is probably better than mine.
You look
I
handsome, James.
sometimes, so.
Yes, okay. Do you know how to speak the Arabic language, James?
Do I? No.
You don't. Don't we just to haven't you ever tried just to learn this hard language?
I've tried. I've tried a little bit. But obviously it's very difficult. I did study some Arabic back when I was doing my master's degree. But I studied with a number of people who spoke various dialects of Arabic, a lot of Egyptian Arabic, so it was a little bit easier for them than myself. But I've promised Rima one day my Arabic will be at least conversational.
James, let me tell you something. My sister is really bad in English. All the time, the students tell me, please, you are an English teacher, you have to help her. But I couldn't. I think that I don't know if what I'm saying is right. Is it a must just for example, just because Ferial knows how to speak the Arabic, is it a must just to learn this language, or it's not that important?
So do you mean important or difficult?
Okay, let me say difficult.
Difficult. Yeah.
I failed to teach English to my sister. I wonder if Ferial failed to teach Arabic language.
No, I know technically Arabic and Mandarin are the most difficult and take the most time for somebody to learn. There was an article in, I think it was The Economist, I read the other week, and it was the average timeline for each various language. And both Arabic and Mandarin were the two which were somewhere between 2 to 3 years if you want to become somewhat fluent versus other European languages.
By the way, God bless you. As I told you, you look awesome. Nice couple, yes. Okay. Holy God, I think someone is coming.
Okay. Excuse me, James. You can register in our center. We can teach you how to be fluent in Arabic. We make business here for free.
He knows like the important words. He knows how to say "I love you," "You're pretty," and "I will do anything for you." That's all he needs to know.
I wish you speak more slowly because I don't understand everything.
Even now?
Hi, James. I miss you. I miss you so much.
We are not fluent in English. We are not fluent in English. ما كثير بنعرف يعني. طيب, okay.
Yeah, Rima always tells me I speak too fast.
Yes, maybe your accent is somewhere weird.
Hi, Rewa.
Hello. Nice to meet
you
too. Beautiful couple.
Thank you. But
Guys,
don't worry, your English is better than his Arabic. So
very true.
طب السؤال اللي دايما نسأله شو هلا هحاول احكي انجلش يعني الاكسنت is necessary يعني ضروري نعرف الاكسنت in English بالانجلش.
Basically, let me translate. Like, do you have to know how to speak an accent, like know English? Is that the question?
Yes. In England, the accents are very different and very strong. Like even like not a long distance, you can be 1 hour away and the accent is completely different. Some accents in England, I struggle to understand. So it's not the easiest, depending on where someone is from. If you've ever heard, for example, a Scottish person talk, it sounds completely different.
Yes, like Indian English too.
Yeah.
So,
Nice to
so
meet you.
as you an English speaker, you have problems to understand someone who has a different accent?
Yes, a little bit. Depending on where in the country, particularly some parts in the northern part of the country, there's very, very strong regional dialects. Of course, like, I understand them, but there's certainly some difficulty with it. But yeah, it's not the easiest. So don't be thrown off if you're watching. I'll try to think of some movies by the end of this call with people with Northern, Scottish, Welsh accents, and give them a go. See if you can pick up on what they're saying.
Okay, which accent do you prefer? The American one or the English?
The British.
So to improve our language as intermediate or beginners.
That's a good question. I'm not too sure. I think Ferial's probably better to answer this than I am.
I would say, from like my experience, I think British people and like an English accent is like they articulate their letters a lot more. So like, but then there are certain words which are really like more difficult to understand. Let's say like words with R. So like instead of saying rare, James will say, how do you say rare? Yeah, like I don't like that is more difficult to understand. I would say like an American accent is because what we see on like TV more often, like a lot of movies and TV shows are with an American accent. So maybe like I think that's how I've learned it, and like it's easier to pick it up because it's just so common around you than a British accent, I would say. Yeah. Is that correct?
I think so. It's yeah, I think some Arabic speakers will find my accent difficult because through television media you are more accustomed or more familiar with hearing people speak English, but American people speaking English rather than British. So yeah, well, I think similar, but probably American, just because you can always watch movies, watch the news, watch more television where it's you're going to hear it more often.
Do you think my accent is easier to understand than James's, or do you think he's easier to understand than me? Because like I have more of an American accent, and for him it's more of a British accent.
By the way, your husband maybe have an accent like in Lebanon, the North people, like in Tripoli, has the sound O, يعني كتير بيضخموا بيتمون.
I think she's saying like in North Lebanon, like Tripoli, like they like pronunciate some words more.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
يعني بيقولوا مش خيار خيار.
I think he's also trying to speak more slowly now. It's like he's like trying extra hard.
James, let me ask you something. Is it wrong to mix accent while speaking? For example, I know that it is correct to use the American accent to speak, or maybe the British one, but someone told me that it's wrong to mix accents while speaking, or maybe in writing. You know that some words in the American accent is different from British. For example, color or center or theater. In writing, you notice that the British are writing just the RE or the American ER or something like that. I know that you can choose one to speak or to use, but is it wrong to mix them in speaking or in writing?
Not really. when it comes to writing, I just switch mine depending on who I'm speaking to. In the US, I know, for example, mum is spelled MOM in America versus England is MUM.
Yes.
Americans use the letter Z in a lot more words than traditional English, where you would use S.
Like realize.
Yeah, words like realized would be
Yeah.
S in English, whereas Americans would use a Z. So yeah, I'll just change it up depending on where I am.
So it's something normal just to change or switch the accents.
Yeah.
Okay.
In writing, not necessarily how I speak. We'll change some words because otherwise Americans don't understand you.
So can I write color with you once and color without you like this?
Yeah, I would prefer to spell it with OUR, but when I'm writing in the US, then yeah, I'll just spell it with OR.
I also think like whatever makes sense to you to write, like you can just write, like there is no grammar police, as long as like people can understand you.
Okay. Guys, again, yes, I think she cannot open the mic. Let me send a message to her.
What you will do today, Lulu?
I don't know, Aisha. I asked you if we can prepare a certain topic just to speak about. If you didn't, let's make this conversation as.
I want to ask Lulu about يعني children. Your mom told me كان عندك project about the children. If you can't mind it, يعني بس بدي أعرف شوي more about more information about that project. يعني هذا اللي حضرتيه تبعت للchildren هيك أمك خبرتني عنه. معلش عم بستعمل أنا عم بعمل ميكس العربي مع الإنجليش. Excuse me because my English is very bad.
Basically talking about like, the project I did in Lebanon with like the Palestinian and Syrian children. That was a while back at this point, but yeah, basically when I was in undergrad, so when I was in college, I got like a scholarship to create a social impact project of my choosing. So I got to design like a program, and then basically the university gives me money to implement it. So I was 21 years old at that point. And I created like a 6-week empowerment camp for adolescent refugee girls in Lebanon. So Syrian and Palestinian refugee girls. We had about 20 to 25 girls between the age of I would say 10 and 13, 14. And we kind of had that camp with them for 6 weeks where we taught them topics that would help them become more resilient in their life and kind of build their confidence. So, everything from financial literacy to, more art therapy classes and going to different trips and stuff for them to be able to kind of have some joy and experience childhood in a way that they might not otherwise be able to. So I did that when I was, 5 years at this, more than 5 years ago, 5, 6 years ago. And it was a wonderful experience. It was wonderful to be able to do that. So I feel very kind of privileged and grateful that I got that opportunity to do this.
And television make an interview with you after finishing this project.
Yeah, no,
you remember? Yes.
Yes, I have an atelier or center of arts to teaching art. I have a PhD in fine arts.
Oh, cool.
Plastic art, and I have a center of teaching this art, and I've found that art therapy is an important issue in our days.
Yeah.
And I use it in my workshop.
That's really awesome. Do you work with people in like certain age groups or?
Especially the children.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, it's incredibly important, especially I think, you know, especially for people who have experienced, you know, displacement or more political, social issues than like an average kid should experience. Like definitely having that avenue for them to express their feelings in a place that's safe and, you know, positive. I think that's incredibly important.
Yes.
لولو، يعني بسمع او عرفت، بعرف انه بالرغم من انه الومن هونيك اخذين انه الرايتس، يعني عندهم كثير حقوق، بس المرأة، معلش رح استعمل اللغة العربية انا لحتى اقدر اعبر منيح. المرأة هونيك بعدها تتعرض للعنف وهي منا واصلة للمساواة بينها وبين الرجل. يعني في كثير نساء بيتعنفوا هونيك بالولايات المتحدة او بالغرب وبيسكتوا كمان. شو رأيك بهالمقولة؟ What do you think about
I'm going to
it?
translate to James and then I can start talking and you can give your opinion as well. She's basically saying that even though in like the US and all of Western countries, there's, you know, by law, like equal rights between men and women, like there's that sort of equality. Still a lot of women face a lot of like abuse and, you know, a lot of times like it's difficult to speak up about it and like ask for their rights. So just kind of like ask me how, like what my opinion is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think kind of my first thing is that in law, like in the laws here, like the laws, I would say very, very equal between men and women, and there's a lot of protections for women if they choose to seek that. Like the police will protect you; they'll make sure, you know, like you're being removed from any sort of domestic violence or abuse. Like there's a lot of organizations, and it's sort of like guaranteed in a lot of ways that like you'll be able to move into a place that's like more safe. However, that being said, obviously, as we all kind of know, if a woman is in a situation where, you know, she feels like trapped, she's experiencing a lot of abuse and trauma, it's very difficult to be able to leave that, to be able to, one, identify what's happening and those signs that this is not a situation which is like normal, like I should want to leave. And then two, like having the courage to be able to seek help and seek support. And also a lot of times there's a lot of, I think, things that would prohibit a woman from speaking up, whether it's like financial, like if she's reliant on her husband, you know, whether it's in the US or in Lebanon, like that, I think that situation is the same, where if you're reliant on like your partner or your husband for, you know, financial support, it's really difficult to leave that situation. And then also I think children is difficult, you know, even there are protections by law, it's very difficult for a woman to be like, okay, I'm gonna leave the situation, but I don't know what's gonna happen to my children. And then I think there's a lot of like I think also just like pressure from like family and your surroundings, like just not knowing what's gonna happen. So I think even though like the society is equal in a lot of ways, there's still a long way to go to get it to a point where, you know, women who are experiencing abuse and trauma to feel fully protected and supported. Does that, yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. The only thing I'd probably add is when it comes to those types of matters, the law is very strong.
Yeah.
If you reported anything along those lines, it would be dealt with very quickly and very seriously.
يعني what I understand here يعني that the laws in America protect women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Sure, more than Lebanon. I am sure.
Way more than Lebanon.
I have a question if you don't mind to answer. I don't know if I have the permission to ask you this question, but you are free to answer or no.
Okay.
Okay. During recently with the conflict with Palestine and Israel, what do you think about this conflict? And are you with someone or with Israel or Palestine, or you are على حياد?
I can answer first. I think, you know, when someone like sees injustice, like we gotta call things as they are. I think like it's never justified or okay to, you know, attack innocent civilians, people who have nothing to do with the conflict, whether regardless of which side they're on. I also think it's a long, you know, it's a conflict with a long history, with like 70 something years of history and context that we need to talk about before, like, I don't think it's like an isolated conflict. Like, there's so much that led to this point. That being said, like, you know, innocent civilians should not have, like, unfortunately, like, they're bearing the impact of the conflict when that's incredibly unfortunate, like for people who have nothing to do with the politics to be affected and to, you know, be killed or hurt or kidnapped or anything. So I can just say hopefully it ends soon and we can get to like a resolution where no more people are dying. That's kind of what I say personally. I think James would agree with that.
Yeah, no, it's obviously a very difficult question to answer. Obviously, there's many opinions floating around the world from all the various sides at the moment. Some more informed than others. Some people, some news outlets in the West definitely don't give enough credit or understanding to 3,000 years of history, which is essentially goes into what is happening now. On one hand, it's good that there's attention being brought to the humanitarian crisis that exists in the country. I said the only negative to that is it's a shame that it's only getting the attention after innocent people have had to die following the events of the past couple of weeks, when we've had over 70 years for other countries, other governments to intervene in what's been happening in Palestine since the late 40s. It's a shame that it has to take bad events, innocent people dying, for people to start taking notice. But yeah, there's no easy answer on that one. If I knew the solution to Israel-Palestine, I'd probably be working for the United Nations, not in a bank.
Too much hard question, Rewa.
Yeah, it's a difficult question because obviously, like, it's so complex and it can't be answered with like a simple, like, we need more than an hour to talk about it.
Yeah, we need just 1 second, I think, because it's an obvious easy question, because it's something belong to humanity and not to other things, not to our country, not to our religion, not to our color.
Yeah.
I think all of people, especially after all this genocide, all these murdered innocent kids, it's obviously to be with Palestine, whatever Palestine is, no matter, it's not important who is Palestine and who is the Palestinian, what are their color, what are their religions, are they Arab or غرب, ما بعرف, American, Indian, African, whatever. It's something really important to be brave, to not feel like fear, because all the people who said it's a difficult question, it's something because there is a fear to answer this, because our country is with Israel. Why? Because Israel is something who is strong, just strong, have money. Because all of our countries look about money and not to a human, not to a manner. It's a shame to stand with this bad country. Whatever, instead of there is a Jew or a Christian or Muslims or whatever. I don't care about what religion are. It's something shame to be with this ما بعرف شو هي. Even though it's not a country, it's just a احتلال. I don't know what's the meaning of the word. Occupation. I'm really so angry.
You mean you
because
are with the weak side.
because no, there is no humanity. Each day I have a dreams about Palestine.
عائشة.
Really, it's something so bad
دكتور
to
عائشة.
us.
I left you a comment.
ها؟
لا عم بحكي مع ليونارد.
Okay, guys, I don't need this conversation just to be political one. Absolutely, all of us against killing and against dying. So please, guys, try to relax, because the main goal of this conversation is try just to use the English and to ask questions concerning English. So please, guys, try to relax. Okay, thank you so much, by the way.
I have a question.
Yes, Niveen.
About education in America. I think education in America, it's very expensive, but I see a lot of university give a student not American scholarships. It's correct or just it's propaganda?
No, I can talk about this a little bit. So education, I can start from like what's the word, like high school, middle school, before you get to secondary. Primary education.
Yeah.
So primary education in the US, like it's primarily free. Like there's public schooling, and the like most people go to public schools, which are free. So that's primary. So that's like high school, middle school, elementary school. Well, obviously there are private schools that people can pay for. They're expensive. In terms of universities, in the US, how the university system works, you have public universities, which if the person is living in state, it's free education, fairly. But then there's also a lot of very, very expensive universities, which are, even if they're public, like they still can be very expensive. I personally got a full scholarship to go to a university in the US, so it was $70,000 per year in terms of like a tuition and room and board. I got a full scholarship. So like what you're saying, Naveen, it's not propaganda. Like it's true that people get really, really good financial aid and good scholarships to attend university, whether they're American or not American.
And yeah, not everybody gets those, of course. Yeah. They are difficult to achieve. Ferial can obviously speak to this in more detail than I can, but you pursued scholarships which were focused on kind of that part of the world. I think they were just for Lebanese students, the one that you got, or something similar.
I had different scholarships. So the first scholarship was from like the university itself, and that wasn't focused on the Middle East or anything. It was just a scholarship from the university for, accomplished students who can't afford to pay $70,000 per year. And then another part of my scholarship came from Ahmediyist, which is, I don't know, you might be familiar, but like the educational institution that's like US funded and US based, but it's like in Lebanon and in the Middle East.
and in England, it's if I'm allowed to make the decision, I'll be sending our children to college, university in England because it's it's cheaper than America. America's education, especially higher education, is very, very expensive. In England, it's cheaper and more affordable and attainable for everybody. The government gives you very low cost loans if you want to go to university, which is what I did because my parents couldn't have paid for me to go. So the government gives absolutely everybody, regardless of financial background or anything like that, where they're from, everybody has access to those. So it's attaining a higher education, I would say, is easier in England.
Yes, in England, even international student, James.
Yep. Yes. So there's some different rules around that. And I'm getting a little bit old now, so it's probably changed a little bit. But back when I was at university in London, students from outside of the European Union paid roughly 2.5 times more than those students within the European Union. And England's no longer part of the European Union, sadly, which is that's another topic, which we'll leave that one alone for the time being. But yeah, there is some difference in fees. I would have to double check what those rules are now. But yes, it's not easier for. Sorry, it's not as cheap for people not from the UK. But what's nice, I would say, about going to schools in England, especially in major cities, especially in London, is they are complete global hubs. It's I can't remember exactly what it would have been, but in an average class of mine, I would say maybe 10% of the people in the class are English. And then it's just a wide mix of everybody from all over the world. So
okay,
I couldn't speak highly enough about doing my education in London. I thought it's great. Obviously, there's amazing schools. There's some of the best schools in the world in America. I think it's just benefits to being in Europe.
yes, it's good. Okay.
But Ferial, James, what about fully funded scholarships? I mean, is it really available? And is it really hard just any student from Arab countries to get a fully funded scholarship in USA or Britain, for example?
I think it depends like where you're looking and how you're looking. Obviously, it's difficult. Like it's not easy. Not everyone's gonna. I think like a lot of it is also luck. Like, sometimes I think like, they're looking for like a certain type of student, and if you fit that mold, like you're more likely to get it. Some of them have like country-specific scholarships. I would say like definitely depends on, like a lot of it is luck, but also a lot of it is also very like merit-based for international students. Like you really have to really prove to them that like you're gonna like thrive in the university and you're gonna succeed and be able to give back. For international students, like I wouldn't say it's like easy. I would say it's like the chances are about, I don't know, I'm throwing out a number, but like 10%, if not less, to be able to get a fully funded scholarship like
It's
that.
not that much.
It's not easy now. Otherwise, I feel a lot more people would be studying in America.
Sorry, I want to say something, Leonardo. Ferial was the first at school she was very smart at school, has a high grade, always high grade, the highest grade.